Hello everyone, Fatty from Pack Punch Traders here. Just setting up here for morning trading. Market been open for a minute now, so let's just go to the scanners real quick. I'm really liking everything besides ARB. Everything is gapping up within my range of float and market cap, and they got some eyes on them, and now they're fading a bit. So what we're going to be looking for is failure to break down and reclaim of key price levels like open price and VWAP after some consolidation showing that they're failing to break down. IBIO, let's see here. Perking up. I'd like to see more volume. It's got a lot of volume resistance from Friday. So that one key area too. We'll see what it does there, but that's just a waiting game for now. There are the two multi-day bounces on watch as well. IVDA. Here we are coming off of the highs after a pretty strong push here. And then there's TMDI as well. So this one, strong bounce play here. And now it was enough to qualify for a multi-day bounce. And now it's way off the highs. Kind of coiling back. The lows are pretty tight. Volume continues to fade. So if we get any strong demand and reclaim of the high day after some consolidation, that could trigger the momentum shift for the bounce play, as here it just continues to get stuffed. Use VWAP as resistance and push lower. Just looking for any indication it's not going to be doing that anymore, which would be any bullish indicators. It starts holding VWAP, starts making new highs and pushing higher. Strong demand comes through. It holds red green. So just looking for all these small bullish indicators to stack up. Oh, this is a super low float. CMMB up decently. Reclaiming the open price here. I just wish it consolidated for a bit longer. But this one, if I were to be getting it here in the 240s, 250s, I'd be aiming for a test of the 280s, 290s, getting back to pre-market highs. That could also be another area where it could be a possible entry if it fails to get stuffed there, right around 3 whole dollar, half dollar level. So we have some resistance here in the high twos from early 2023. So if those areas can't hold this thing down, it's got some pretty clear skies after that. Who knows where it can get to. We'll just be playing the momentum, seeing how it reacts to whole dollar, half dollar levels. Volume, what it's doing, fading or increasing. MLBE or MLB, another one here, just waiting. See if it fails to break down and reclaims the open price and VWAP. Confirms that support, makes higher lows, demand comes through, and from there we'd be looking for at least a test of pre-market highs. After that, we got resistance not until the mid to high threes, so we'll see if this fails to break down. Right now, just pushing lower and lower. Yep, another one here looking for that failure to break down. It's all just a waiting game. Right now, just see which one of these from the scanners fails to break down after some consolidation. Right now, it's looking like CMMB wants to hold up. I'm actually kind of liking this here. Continue to make higher lows. It's holding VWAP and open price. but I don't want to be chasing it here when the ideal entry was down in the 240s, low 250s. And here we are, it was pushing on lighter volume. We'll see how this reacts. If it can get the momentum it needs, or is it going to get stuffed? And that lack of demand leads to this. As you can see here, it held up for a moment. Weak volume, it had that perk. That was a little suspicious because demand was pretty weak, and here's that follow through. This is why we always emphasize demand as being, and volume in general, just being the key indicator of what's to come. You can have a bunch of trend lines and whatnot on your chart, but just follow simple key price levels and supply and demand, and that will likely get you on the right track. So we'll give this some time, see if it fails to break down, double bottom, come back. If all this massive selling can't break this down, that would be very impressive. Super low float, that could trigger a quick squeeze higher. SRNE, that one does continue to the mid 30s. Okay. So this was a play from Friday. That was thinking if it can't keep, if 27 can't stuff it, and it can break above it and confirm it, we can test the next resistance area around the mid to high 30s here, even 40 cents. And it was kind of a choppy, slow mover here on Friday. After a strong first green day here, it was showing some ability to move. Had this one strong move, but after that, kind of started chopping around. Had a hard time in the low 30s, but here we are, getting to where I was expecting. Just took a bit longer. No play for me here. This is now reaching the goals, reaching resistance levels. I think there are other better plays to focus on now. That one's over and done with. Here's CMMB, pushing lower. So something like this, just it broke day lows and now it's heading to new lows. That's a very bearish, but here's the thing. If this could end up turning to like a fake out breakdown, it has a hard time pushing lower than 230, and it keeps holding around these pre-market highs, or excuse me, lows in the 220s, that can lead it to come back to open price, and from there that could lead to some short covering and buyers coming back to give us the momentum we need to get back to 3, at least ideally mid 3s. But that's why here I'm not just going to waste a bunch of time staring at it. I'll put an alert for probably open price, see if we can get a burst back above that and confirmation, a higher low. That would be ideal. So CMMB, keep it on the back of your mind, but right now it has made new lows, so pretty bearish at the moment. Nice, MOB. Not much demand, but it is holding. Selling kind of faded off. So waiting on that 262 reclaim. So multi-day bounces today so far, not really shaping up. This one's super low volume, trying to break that 1943 high. Could move, as we saw with KPRX on Friday. It was a low volume play, but this is the bounce play. We brought in this view. So we got a pretty decent move from 3.5 to 8.5. Then we start fading and start looking for that multi-day bounce, but the volume never comes through, and it doesn't give us an insane push back to the highs or anything. We get this low volume perk, about 20%. So this is what can happen with a bounce play sometimes. They're not all perfect. Sometimes they don't bounce for a week. Sometimes they even longer than that. So it feels as if they don't bounce at all. Or you get this weak volume crap that I didn't trade. I didn't want to be a part of this. Looking at that break over the mid fives here, 560. Just not enough. And I didn't want to make that mistake again, as I forgot which tickers, but in the past month, there have been a couple losses on the multi-day bounce pattern, just trying to get something, but it has no volume at all. So I stayed away from KPRX, but that one ended up pushing. Oh wow, HCDI. That's incredible. Wait, AM. That's from the watch list, I'm pretty sure. No. Did look, yeah, 374 multi-day break. Come back. Okay, where are we at? Oh, that's already in the floors, damn it. Well, I know I wouldn't have been buying the breakout if we're being honest. I don't buy it at any cost right as it's spiking. I don't want to be chasing that. So if we get any confirmation of the high threes, four-ish area, this could lead to further squeezing. So pull this up. Got resistance in the mid fours. Got the 420. Like, not too bad. Let's just see if we can confirm, bring in more volume for a possible move higher. But at the moment, I don't want to be chasing the breakout. So let's just wait and see what this does. IVDA continues to push lower here. Breaking 130 right now. That low that it's set on its panic. So this could be seeing more lows. Who knows how much further, but it's able to break to new lows. We'll see when this could possibly bounce. Could be later today. Who knows? This could just be a fake out, as this push lower is on very low volume at the moment. So just a waiting game right now. Pretty boring morning. Okay, HCDI. If this fails to break down, this could be a breakout. We got highs right around that area, 74 cents, breakout at 70.5 or so. There's some resistance going back to late 2020 in the 74, 75 cent region. So let's go intraday here. Solid double top right now, trying to just get pushed lower by shorts and sellers. Hopefully it holds up and we get the demand we're looking for, and then we'll see it come back, make higher lows, hold the VWAP, come back to the 70 cent region, turn that into some support, or just show that it's able to hold up near it, have some strong volume with it. That could lead to a squeeze up to the high 80s, 90-cent region. So there's a 20%, 25% range that we can capture. So right now, just let the play develop. Set our hands for now. It's not perfect. Don't know what to look at right now. There isn't really anything fantastic. This is getting near a resistance area. Ideal entry would have been around 27. That's over and done with. IVDA trying to hold up. We'll see if that comes back for a 140 break. That can trigger a multi-day bounce. IBIO. I like the price action. I just don't think it has the volume it needs to really break through over the 190s 2-ish region. Floater. See, if this was just a fresh first green day, I would have liked it. But we got this history here, this baggage around 2. A lot of sellers coming through there, so we're gonna need a lot of buyers to filter through all those sellers and short sellers and prove that it can go higher, and that could lead to a squeeze. But until then, this is a pretty suspicious play. As we've seen many times before, anything really moving on insignificant volume relative to its history isn't going to do much. ARBE setting up for open price VWAP claim. I'm just not too sure about it. Higher market cap and float than I would prefer. This is third green day in a row. We got that breakout. I don't know. I'm going to opt to ignore this. I also don't see much history of spiking. We got this one ramp up, but besides that, everything's just a slow grind. And I don't want to be here for that. So if this moves, oh well. Could be a lesson. But at the moment, I'm not a big fan, even though it is the one that is holding up pretty well out of the gappers in the morning. It is green compared to the other plays, which are all red from open price. Too busy looking at other stuff. Here's that confirmation and hold. As you can see, very light selling pressure. As it gets stuffed, continues to hold the VWAP, hold the 374 breakout region, back to new highs here. Wouldn't be shocked to see this in the mid 4s soon if volume can pick up. What is this? I don't like to see that. That looks like volume exhaustion. It's not able to sustain that volume, is what it looks like right now. Let's see if it can keep holding up. This selling pressure is not that much. If it can just come back in the next couple minutes with some strong demand, I will see this as pretty bullish, as it pushes to new highs. That's a strong move on some strong demand, but no sellers come through. So in my eyes, that shows that there could be further prices to come if the buyers come through and there's some strong demand. If not, it could just be a choppy back and forth kind of play if neither side shows up. But for now, this is holding. This is holding. Solid uptrend. Yeah, this is just a misplay on my part. Here we are with no buyers, no sellers going on here. It just completely slows down. Just a choppy play. I'm not seeing much at all here this morning. Missed AM. That might have been the best play. On this dip buy opportunity here, would be getting close to 10% here. But right out of the watch list, just didn't have my eye on it. TMDI bounce play, very weak volume, so I'm probably not going to watch this here. That'd be unfortunate if it just all of a sudden has insane volume and spikes, but just like KPRX, I'd rather stay safe even if it does move a little bit. Because even if it gives me 10-15%, I'm going to be stressed the whole time, won't really be able to add size and be comfortable in the play. So now that I've been kind of sensing that market momentum is kind of shifting, I really just want to focus on the A+ setups. No need to trade every single day. And just take what's in front of you. Not try to force anything. This might be an early morning session. Just get finished up quick in a minute here if nothing shapes up. MLB has some good news behind it. I think this is the one with U.S. defense contract. Partnership. I didn't look into the details. It honestly could be a rehash of something old. But there's some news with a decent headline that could trigger shorts to get in after we get this whole entire run up. Gets into resistance area, whole dollar, half dollar level. I'm pretty sure on the daily that is also a key area. No, not really. Okay, so just the whole dollar, half dollar level at 3. After running up a lot, and it just slowly fades off the highs. Some strong volume coming through at the morning, selling side. So we'll see if this fails to break down. That could trigger shorts to start locking in their profits, or if they're in somewhere here, their losses, and it starts moving higher. So just a waiting game. Today is not ideal, but what are you gonna do? I'm really hoping my scanner is catching everything. If there's a play, if I go on Twitter later and there's a play that I completely miss, that's within my criteria, it's just not on my scanner, I won't be happy. ARVL, no volume, not much to this right now. Just gonna ignore that. Yep, here's AMAM, mid fours, right out of the watch list. Ugh, annoyed that this one was missed. But it was my fault. I didn't have my eye on it enough. It really was the best thing in the morning. But I kept looking at other plays, seeing how they were shaping up, and completely missed this dip buy opportunity. I did think it might need to consolidate a bit more, but it doesn't have to do what you think it needs to. Just take what is in front of you. Here we got a huge run up on pretty strong volume, but each time selling comes through, trying to push it down, not much comes through, and that leads to buyers seeing the strength and higher prices. And that's exactly what I thought here on this minute where it looked like it was slowing down. But I did also say if we get this confirmation, if it fails to break down up here, you got a fake out double top and higher lows. And if demand just confirms that this is a light volume dip, just consolidation for a moment, that could lead to a push to the 440s, 450s. And here it is slowing down. I was looking for that test of 4.5. Let's look at the daily chart. Right into that resistance here. And based off the volume on the day so far, I'm not really expecting this to push much higher. But we'll see. Maybe that's just me misreading it at the moment. We come back in a couple hours and this thing is doing 60, 70, 80 million shares traded on the day. But right now, this, if I would have been trading this reached my goals, would have taken my quick snipe in the high threes, low fours to the mid fours here, and just called it a day. So yeah, whatever. That's a misplay, but glad to have had it on watch at least. Had the right idea on it. So yeah, I might be wrapping up this session here. There's AMAM. That one continues higher. Unfortunate to have missed that, but what are you gonna do? Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But very boring morning here. Might be logging off here in a moment. Come back maybe midday, peek at what's happening. But this is what we're talking about. Overall market is red right now. I see a lot of white on my scanners here. Not much filled up as we have seen last month. It just early morning, that thing is completely full. Just plenty of plays, a lot of people trading. Momentum is shifting. I've said it a few times recently, and yeah, just gonna adapt. I missed a play. Not gonna try and force anything here. Just have to take what the market gives you, and right now it's not much, so I think I will be just logging off. The few plays I will leave you with to keep an eye on, set alerts maybe. MLB, if this comes back for that VWAP and open price reclaim with some strong demand behind it, could lead to a push to at least test 3. Ideally, it breaks past 3 and heads to resistance in the, where are we at? Mid to high threes here. CMMB, if this can hold up and come back with some volume for an open price VWAP reclaim, as it's doing now. Okay. Let's see if this can sustain itself. This is a super low floater, failing to break down after a strong morning. Could lead, if not to a massive squeeze, at least a reversal. Get back to the high twos, 3-ish area. So let's take a look at this. As usual, would be going in with a starter. I'm planning on going in 300 shares and then adding until it proves itself. Work my way up to about 1,000 shares ideally. And then from there, take 30 to 50 cents, depending what it gives me, how the momentum is. Right now, this is looking like a little fake out, but light selling coming through. Could hold up, start making this 240 region a higher low. Oof, AM. Definitely wrong about that there. That thing is pushing. So we'll come back later, see what that does. Could have been a misread, thinking 4.5 is going to hold this resistance. But right now, let's focus on CMMB. And if I'm risking, I will be risking day low. I'll be just about 5%. Alrighty, just a fake out. What is it looking like right now? IVDA, decent little bounce here. Keep that 140 area on watch, red to green level, high day break to trigger that momentum shift. Ideally, we get a pickup in volume. To really fuel that bounce that we're looking for. So, really looking like this one of those mornings. Let's see, maybe this makes another higher low here. Starts coming back to the 240s. AM. Incredible. So yeah, that's the misplay on the day. All right, I'm likely gonna keep coming back to this play, but it would be pointless. I'm actually gonna take it off here, so I don't get too emotional. Solid higher low, but volume is still not that encouraging. As we always talk about, you don't want to just focus on one side of trading, price action or the volume. You got to have them both together. One should support the other. Sita here. I don't think this has really enough volume for a solid breakout. Come back for that high day break. If it does prove otherwise, that's fantastic. But at the moment, it's looking like 19 might hold as resistance. But if the man picks up and we come back to that high day break, start reclaiming that area, make a support, that could trigger a squeeze higher to the low 20s is what I would be looking for. Just a quick 10-15%. But at the moment, just a waiting game. Let it consolidate and then come back for a high day break. Besides that, I don't really see an angle on it. HCDI, looking for that 70, 74 reclaim as we talked about earlier. CMMB here, looking like it wants to make a higher low. Might give this an opportunity on a starter. Just 300 shares. Alrighty. Got 300 shares at 244. Worst case scenario, I'm losing 60 bucks or so. But let's see if this can bring in some more demand. This was a nice perk right here. If it can sustain, keep bringing that in, make higher lows while reclaiming these key areas. I would really like to see that for a possible add. Alright, so open price 243. So I'd really like to see it hold above that. Lines up with the VWAP at 242. We got demand picking up. Super low float. So it will likely have the ability to move quickly if supply and demand is one-sided. And worst case scenario, if I don't get the ability to add, and it does do what I want, and it just takes off, I'll still take 150 bucks on the day, or on this trade at least. So we'll see what this does. Either way, I think I'm in position for decent little gain at least, or a very small loss. If we get the add, I think this could shape up to be a good trade. Right now, pushing in the direction we want, increasing volume coming through. Let's just keep propping up, make sure it's buying coming through. But right now, trying to break through this reversal on this trend line. Let me throw down an arrow just to make this clear, since I am trading on my phone. 244. Having a hard time breaking out and pushing higher, and also failing. So it's just in this range right now. Trying to make higher lows. Still figuring out which direction it really wants to head into. I do like overall what I'm seeing. Some higher lows, increase in volume. But let's just keep that coming in. If the volume stops here, it does risk just getting stuffed. And then pushing back quickly to the 230s, 220s, where I would likely be out if it starts breaching that area. This is a really low float. Like, it should be making the move pretty quickly in my eyes. So the fact that it's having such a hard time does make me a little concerned. Nice push there. Ideally, we get some more volume behind that. I might be adding here in a minute. Just want to see a little bit of confirmation, some follow through with that push higher. I'll probably just double my size to 600 shares. No ad yet. I'll take my ad above 2.5. That'll be a key level psychologically. As we always talk about, whole dollar, half dollar level being that. So if it can get above that, show that it's already holding the 240s here, come back to the 250s, put an ad, and from there, just let it ride. Maybe add some more in the 260s, but I don't want to be chasing too much and ruining my average a whole ton. So yeah, we'll see how this shapes up. But right now, looking to add another 300 shares. So I got it at 53. So that brings my average up a bit. 249 now. So we'll see how this works out. Now we'll for sure be taking a 20-cent loss. So looking to be taking about $120 loss on this trade now if it does fail. I'm actually going to put my stop loss from now, actually. Make it easier on myself. Okay, let's think here. So we got this trend line. Key level around 230. I guess it's only a few cents going to 227. Trying to get as close as 230 as possible. Minimize my loss if that happens. Okay, so put 600, 227. So before slippage, we're looking at about $132 loss. I assume it'll push lower by a penny or two. So might be taking about $150 loss on this if it doesn't work out. And that is a bit more than I would prefer for a max loss. Right now with my account, I would like $100 loss maximum. But that was my fault for adding a bit too soon in hindsight here. Could keep holding up and we start ripping, so won't get too emotional. Wow, SRNE, incredible. AMAM, oh my god, okay. And here's TMDI, getting some volume and moving. So I just chose the wrong one today, huh? Alrighty, there's TMDI. Shoot. Still, not that much volume. For this price, that's not that significant. But still, there's that push we look for. If we get another burst, we'll get to that 30% previous close I'm always talking about. On average, that's as a move. Okay. But yeah, low volume, and all of a sudden, boom, the volume came through. If it was doing this kind of volume the whole time, that would have been nice, but misread it. That's a solid move. Opportunity over 20 cents. Wow, AMAM. You can tell New York Stock Exchange with that slower grinding move, but still within an hour it was able to run up this much. Very good to see. So that was a good call. Missed opportunity. Same with TMDI. So yeah, I'm stuck with CMMB right now. Although it's taken forever, so far still holding up. Over 240, 243. Just waiting on demand to come back. That's not really the approach I like. I like to just bank off the move that's already happening. I want volume to already be there. And I really might just be cutting this soon, if we're being honest. I'm getting a bit impatient. With a float like this really should have been having the move already. So by it not being able to do that and volumes fading, I think it really runs the risk of just plummeting. And that could be me just getting emotional. Um, but honestly though, like with a float like that, with the demand that it's having overall on the day today, this should be able to squeeze quickly. You can rotate the float in 1 minute in this multiple times. Um, but now here, after this little bounce, it gets stuffed at 2.5, and volume's just nowhere to be found. So that's very concerning. And I don't want to just be sticking around waiting for volume to come back. That's not my strategy. So I just might be cutting this here. Okay, so I got out at 37. Minimize my losses by a bit. I know I didn't stick to where I wanted to initially sell at, but the more I started thinking about this, the more of a bad trade this really is at the moment. I'm looking at the other plays that have been moving. They had some volume behind them. Nobody had to really wait for it to move. This thing is just not how I trade. Volume completely died, and I'm not going to stick around, waste time and energy just to see something chop around and likely fail if there's no volume. Um, so, well, impatient, but I think ultimately a good decision. We'll find that out later. Here we are cracking that trend now. So, I'm getting below VWAP and open price, fading volume. The only thing this thing has going for it is higher lows. That's really it. Um, so yeah, what are you gonna do? So took a $72 loss. I will take it over $150 loss or so. But just unfortunate how today shaped up. A couple plays from the watch list, just good calls. Or actually, it was just AMAM, SRNE. I took off the watch list as I saw momentum kind of slowing down on it. I didn't know how much further it can go. But here it is, doing everything I wanted it to do on Friday. So yeah, we'll just wrap this up here. Week morning, missing some plays and taking the wrong one with whatever you call it, CMMB. Just want to take one last look at TMDI. Here it is, pushing to new highs, 25%. So yeah, there's Bounce, another good one from the watch list. This was a top play to watch. So weird morning, but hey, walking away with just a $72 loss, I will take it. That's a small loss within max loss. So yeah, but now we're trading, not a whole ton. I was gonna cut it early until I saw CMMB showing some perk and some bottom here, which I thought could lead to a test of the 280s, 290s. But as you can see here, volume just failed. Let me mark my arrow here so that it's clear. Alrighty, so no volume, no play. That's the lesson from here this morning. We'll see. We'll keep it on watch though. It hasn't completely broken down yet, so it can eventually make a move if volume comes through. But I'm not gonna stick around and just wait for that to happen. If there's no volume right now, I'm not going to try and predict that coming through. I'm not in the game of predicting plays happening, more banking off of the existing move. Just make it easier on yourself. But yeah, so dumb morning, but I walked away pretty good still with that small loss. So we'll catch you all later. Hopefully something shapes up later on and I get a recording of it. A good trade, go back green on the day. But as of now, it's a dud of a morning. So hope this was useful. I was able to learn something.